Is it possible to encounter a rare softlock in Luigi's Mansion that prevents you from beating the game? Not too long ago I got an email out of the blue describing a hypothetical situation in which a player could potentially get softlocked in Luigi's Mansion, in such a way where they would have to quit the game. Now this struck a chord with me for a few reasons. One, I love Luigi's Mansion. If there's a myth to test, I want to test it. And two, Luigi's Mansion was the first GameCube game I owned. But I say that not because of nostalgia, but because when we got it, my parents didn't buy a memory card. So for a while, we had no way to save the game. So a softlock like this, if it existed, would mean a game over for me. Without a memory card, if you quit the game or die at all from enemies, it doesn't retain any of your progress when it kicks you back to the title screen. Both options require you to start a new game. So when I got this email, I remember how frustrating that was as a kid. So I thought I'd investigate this softlock, and I feel I learned a lot on the way. I hope you enjoy. So let's set the stage. It was late at night and an email came through that said the following. Hello SwankyBox. Just very quickly want to say I love watching your content with lost game content and things hidden in games. It's very interesting to watch. I had an idea for how it might be possible to softlock yourself in Luigi's Mansion without using any kinds of cheats to do so. I couldn't find anything on this, so I don't think anyone tried it before, but as you know, there's a point in the game where the only way you can progress is by catching 5 boos and having EGAD unlock the washroom door on the first floor. What would happen if Luigi were to chase all catchable boos into areas that Luigi is unable to access? If Luigi can't catch any boos, does the game have some kind of failsafe in case of this scenario happening? Is there some hidden dialogue from EGAD telling Luigi that he's failed to catch the boos, so he'll open the door anyway? Food for thought in my opinion. I know you like to test these types of things and break Luigi's Mansion as much as possible, so when I thought of this possible softlock, I thought it'd be worth sharing it with you in case you want to do something or try it out for yourself. Thanks for taking the time to read this. If you have, I appreciate it. Kind regards, Star. So of course I'm sitting there and it's like midnight and I'm reading this and I'm thinking to myself, oh man, that actually might be pretty neat. And again, I just thought of those struggles that I had with the memory card issue when I was younger, and if I ran into this, I would have been extremely frustrated. So, channeling that energy, my quest began. So I played through the beginning of the game, all the way up to the Whirlindas, those dancing ghosts, and then I gave them a good vacuum, I went to the storage room, and then I freed the boos. Quick note here, some of you may not know this, but there's actually a poster out of bounds, like way out of bounds beside the storage room that's just floating off in the void. I'm not sure why it's there, but it's always been there, and normally you cannot see it, but here it is. At this point in the game, you need to catch 5 boos, and when you catch those 5 boos, EGAD is going to tell you to go to the washroom, and inside you'll find Toad and a key inside the toilet. The player needs to do this in order to move forward in the game. Now, for the boo hunt in Area 2, this area we're in right now, there are only 3 rooms total that we have access to. It's the bathroom, the ballroom, and the storage room. And of those 3 rooms, we have 2 ghosts, 2 boos that we can catch. This is Boo La La, that's in the ballroom, and Game Boo, who is in the storage room. So of course I find these boos, and I activate them, and I just sort of hang back. And I want to see what they're going to do, and they're moving back and forth between the rooms, and I notice that anytime they go into the hallway, there's like a very high chance that they just go straight back into the ballroom right away. So of course I'm thinking, oh well, this is a bust, except I was wrong, because Boo La La decided to go into Mr. Lug's room, the dining room. Now the thing is, this door is of course locked, and we can't go in. Now going back to Game Boo, we can cause Game Boo to go from the storage room into the ballroom, then into the hallway, and then they have a chance of going into the dining room. And now there are 2 boos in the dining room, and we have no way of getting in. Now the thing about boos is that they don't actually reset their position. So no matter where we go in the mansion, if I come back to these rooms, the ballroom and the storage room, they will always be empty. In this play session, they are going to stay there until we actually go in and get them. Now this creates a problem, because obviously these 2 boos were something we needed. So at this point my mind's racing, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this softlock might actually happen. But there's another challenge we actually have to overcome, and that is the Area 1 boos. So in Area 1, we have 6 accessible rooms that contain boos. The parlor, the anteroom, the wardrobe room, the study, the master bedroom, and the nursery. There's also the twins room in this area of the map that we cannot access currently, so that door is locked. And with these 6 rooms that we have access to right now, we also have 6 boos. We have Bamboo, Boolicious, Game Boo Advance, which is kind of just a ripoff of Game Boo from before. We have Turbo, Taboo, and Bootha. Now the Area 1 rooms are actually split into an interesting shape. So it's like almost like two L's. We have the nursery, master bedroom, and study that sort of have this L shape that branches to the hallway. And then we have the parlor that connects to the anteroom that connects to the wardrobe room. And so I start messing around with these ghosts. I began activating them and chasing them out of the room and seeing where they go. Now more times than not, the boos try to stay in the area in which they are spawned from. They typically cycle between the 3 different rooms, and the reason why is because there is actually only one crossover point that a boo can take to get to Area 1's first section from the second section. And that is because the study and the parlor share a wall, and that wall can actually let a boo go through it. Now the boos cannot access the foyer at all. They're not capable of going south from the parlor or to the east in the hallway that's outside the study. And as these boos move around, I realized that they really stick to these areas. And I was wondering, like, what would happen if a boo went through the wall to the second floor area that we have access to after we beat Bogmire? But no boos will actually do this. They hop between these 3 starting rooms, and then they have the chance of crossing over into the study. So that means they cannot go from the wardrobe to the study because that wall, for some reason, cannot be passed through by a boo. So at this point, I'm really thinking my only hope is the nursery. If I can use the nursery or the hallway to get them to go into the twins room, then I can cause a soft lock because the twins room is not accessible until later in the game. But unfortunately, there's a problem with that. No matter what I did, even if I put multiple boos inside Chauncey's room, the nursery, they can only ever exit it into the hallway. They never travel through the wall to the twins room, and if they go into the hallway, they only ever go into those 3 same rooms. They never venture into the twins room. So in all these rooms, there's actually just walls that these boos would not choose to go through. But then I got another idea. What if we get all 6 boos into the same room? Would that do anything? So it took a while, but eventually I got all 6 boos into the study. And the thing is, you can have multiple boos in the same room, but 6 is a little excessive. So I go in there and I start summoning the boos, and only one boo can be active at a time. If you try to summon another boo while one's still in the room, well, your Game Boy Horror radar will go from red to yellow, and the boo you're trying to summon will actually move to a different object in the room. So I'm going through these. I see Bamboo, Boolicious, Game Boo Advance, and Turbo. And then my Game Boy Horror turns blue. Taboo and Bootha were gone. And honestly, I was kind of shocked. Before going into this room, I made sure that every room around me had a blue reading, meaning there was no boo inside that room. They were all in the parlor. So the fact that the parlor turned blue and there were 2 ghosts missing made me think, oh my gosh, did I just overload the room? Did it delete both Taboo and Bootha? If this is the case, then we have 4 boos that are left and we have a soft lock because we need 5. So again, I checked all the rooms around me just to make sure they were not there, but unfortunately, when I came back inside the study after doing my pass, I realized that the game can only store 4 at a time, but it did not lose track of the other 2. I just had to exit and re-enter the room for those other 2 to load in. And because of that, that means there are always 6 boos present, even if we get rid of 2 of them downstairs. So no soft lock can exist under these circumstances. Unless somehow I messed up, or there's some sort of oversight that I had with the twin room that I was not aware of. Like if somehow the boos can actually go into the twins room, and I just got extremely unlucky with all my attempts. But as it stands, I don't believe the soft lock exists, but I learned quite a lot about boos in the process. And I hope you did too. I hope you enjoyed this strange breakdown of a Luigi's Mansion myth, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Cheers!